Thank you.
So how was Diwali? How was Children's Day? How was 6-month celebration of living life?
Everything was good. Going good.
You seem a little tired.
Been traveling for last week. We were traveling for 2 days.
Okay.
After that, I didn't get good rest.
Okay. You seem a lot drained actually.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay, wonderful. We have Rabia also joining in.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rabia. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to see you all.
Can we be lucky to see you today?
I'm always lucky to see you all.
You should share the luck with others as well. Come on, Rabia.
Okay, actually my daughter is sleeping here. That's the reason I have.
I thought she was going to join us today.
Yeah, she was supposed to, but today she had a test in school online, and after that she played the games a lot.
Okay.
And then that's the reason she's tired and she slept. She said, conveyed her message that next week she is going to join you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good.
Good. I'm happy to see people joining in on time. Hi,
Yeah.
Mr. Chetan. How are you? Who's by the name of Anand's Galaxy? I'm waiting. We'll wait maximum till 9:05 and begin with the session because there's one kind of a speech that I have to deliver today. I'll be recording that as well. That's. Hi, Mr. Natraj. Good to see you also. How are you, sir?
So far, so good.
Good, nice. Sumitra ji, Anand's Galaxy. Who's there by the name of Anand's Galaxy? Rabia, can I mute you?
You can see once. Can you able to see me like this?
Yeah. In whatever form, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Hi, Sumitra ji. Good to see you. Namaskar. Who's by the name of Anand's Galaxy? I'm waiting for some response. Fatim. Who's by the name of Fatima Tazmeen? Fatima Tazmeen. Namaskar, Sumitra ji. Hi, Hasanuddin sir. Good to see you.
Yeah, hi sir. Same to you. Good to see you.
Okay, that was your daughter's name or something, Fatima?
Yeah, actually she used my mobile.
No issues. That's right. When I saw it renamed, I'm good. Thanks for coming in back again, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hope you have had a good time over the past 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes, long gap.
Yeah, we did meet last week just for a 10 to 12 minute call, and it was good to meet whoso could make it. We had exchanged the meet and greet. That's it. Nothing else. We didn't have any session last week as such.
Yes, actually I missed that event.
No issues, sir. No issues. It was you didn't miss any interaction or conversations or learnings, I would say.
Sure, yes, sir.
I'm still waiting. Who's by the name of Anand's Galaxy? You can just open and speak up.
Hello.
Hello.
Rahul, I am Anand.
Anand from?
Kota.
Kota. Okay, you're coming for the first time?
No.
Is it possible for you to switch on the video? If it's possible, do it.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, now I can recognize you because it's been, I don't think so. It's been long that you have come back. When were you last there?
Not really. I have joined last session for 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Actually, the timing is not suitable for me.
I understand. Actually, we have also had our challenges with regard to experiments in the timing. We tried the 6:45, 7 o'clock timing, but we had our own challenges with our kids and with the lockdown and no options of going or sending them somewhere. We had our limitations with regard to that. But otherwise, we have seen that moving this to a Sunday again is not exactly viable because many people had their own plans through the day. And this is one thing that we felt even for school students, for kids who are going to school or something, or even for working employees, Saturday night was one place where they could get back to free. And even if it's a little late, Sunday morning is okay for them to begin the Sunday mornings late. That was the idea behind having this. We hope we add enough value that you are attracted enough to make adjustments to whatever other schedules are there, and look forward to seeing you for the entire session today and going forward as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so yeah, the topic for today, the theme of today's session is, just because we had Children's Day also last week, and we didn't want to miss out on such a wonderful theme that we could all connect with. And because last Saturday was Diwali, Children's Day also, we didn't want to miss out on this wonderful topic and miss out on this occasion, wherein we can each connect with our own childhood story, something that we can reflect upon. Childhood for Akansha could be while she was 6-7 years old. For Vagisha could be while she was 5-6 years old. Whatever story that you have, or for Uma ma'am could be in the present, or could be way long back. Whatever is your story, whatever is it that you want to share with us about your childhood, it could be a good, memorable thing which has stayed in your heart and is always cherished, or it could be possibly a moment in your childhood which transformed you or made you who you are today. So it could be anything that is stuck in your mind and you want to share it to the world. And this is what the platform today, here we are today for. So each one goes ahead with sharing their story, whatever be it. They can share any story that they want to about their childhood. We'll get to know you better. Like Akansha, your story is something that we're looking at, wherein we are looking at each individual's perspective of what their story has been and how memorable it has been there. So we would like to listen to everyone's story. There's an opportunity where you can speak up, express yourself, and talk. That's the idea behind this session. So with that, let's begin with the session today. And who wants to go first? Akanksha, thank you. You did something like this, right?
Was cleaning the camera, sir. That's it.
Good, you're ready, it means.
I didn't plan anything.
See, she was getting excited that I want to go first, and that's where she was cleaning the camera. Go ahead, Akansha. Go ahead with anything that you want to share.
I didn't think anything.
Anything that you can recollect, except for those bulging eyes that you have as of now. Anything that you think will be worth sharing with us, or you want to go after a minute or so, after someone else. Yes. You're ready for that always, not me now. Okay, Uma ma'am.
Okay. I remember those days when my father used to come from Coimbatore once a month, and he used to bring 3 things: chocolates, storybooks, and flowers. And I used to run rushing to his bag, and I used to open it and see what he has brought for me. And I remember those days very fondly. And still I owe my habit of reading books to him. It used to start from Amar Chitrakatha, then those Mandrake, Bahadur, a lot of comics, Tarzan. So I still remember he used to bring a lot of comics, and I used to look forward to his visit. He was away working, and he used to come only once a month. We were staying in Bangalore, and every month he used to give us a visit, and while going he used to give me 10 rupees. So that 10 rupees was so precious those days, and maybe I used to save it in a piggy bank or something. And also he used to write letters often, just like Nehru used to write to Indira Gandhi. I remember those letters, and I still preserve them, and I have it with me. So my father is going to turn 88 now, and he's a great inspiration to me. And any time I ask him for anything, he's there ready to give me all positive inputs or any YouTube links. I have to ask, and he'll be ready with everything. So I'm really grateful for that, and I remember that even now. Those are my fond memories.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think while I gave this topic about my childhood story, even till now, I wasn't clear what I was going to speak about. I wasn't clear of which memory that I want to talk about and which I want to share with you all. But I think your talk gave me an idea about what I want to share. We'll go with Sumitra Goyal ji. You have raised your hand, Sumitra ji. Sumitra ji. Hasanuddin sir, go ahead.
Can I go in next?
Yes. Who's there?
Nataraj.
Nataraj sir, go ahead.
My childhood, I learned two important lessons. I thought I'll share it with them. I always remember those two important lessons. My father was a senior government officer who enjoyed a lot of status. In fact, it's a status which senior civil servants, senior government officers enjoy even today. But he was also a very simple, down-to-earth person. He had come up the hard way. So I learned two lessons from him. I mean, he didn't consciously teach me that, but probably he practiced it. And I learned it by watching him. The two lessons are, one, whatever status we had at that time, I am talking of my school days, whatever status we had at that time was purely temporary. Ultimately, you enjoy the status so long as you are in service, so long as you are in office. All said and done, the respect is for the office. More than the person, it is for the office. And the moment you demit office, the moment you retire, the status goes. So it is purely temporary. It is not to be taken for granted. That is one important lesson I learned. It has stayed with me even today. Another lesson which I learned is that this status has to be earned. My father earned it because through his own merit and effort, he rose to become a very senior civil servant. So he earned it. I did not. I enjoyed that status for some time by virtue of being my father's son. I did not earn it. And frankly speaking, in my career later on, I did not have the same status as my father had. I have no regrets because I believe that I did not earn that status. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm bad. I am good enough. It doesn't mean I'm bad, but I did not enjoy that status and I have no regrets. These are the two important lessons which I learned from my childhood. And those lessons have stayed with me even today.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. I think, Pragya, you want to add something to that because I know that you have a connection to that story. Go ahead, Pragya.
Frankly, not about this. I will share my story a little later. But yes, there's a very interesting story which I came across of a person on the same lines which Sir has said. So this guy who was standing on a conference hall and, all the people came and started offering him things and, so will you have coffee? Sir, should I get something for you? Sir, should I wait here for you? And all those things were going around. And he was so excited that, oh, I'm getting so much of attention. After 1 year, this same person in the same conference hall was sitting on a common chair because he was not the president anymore of that particular club. He was offered tea. He asked for tea and the person said, oh, the machine is there. There are some glasses or cups there, some, plastic cups. You can go and have coffee from there. It is not served over here. This guy was surprised that just 1 day back, 1 or 2 days back, I was being served and I was, everybody was just offering me things. Then why not now? And this introspection made him learn this thing that the status is of the position where you are sitting and not of you. The value is given to that chair, to that name, to that designation. if you need it for yourself, you will need to earn it on your name and not on your designation. So this was something which really I got, just reminded by Sir's story that how these things changed and how it is important.
Wonderful. Sumitra ji, I think there's a problem from your audio connection. Can you leave the meeting and join again? Because your audio is not connected to the meeting yet. Sumitra ji? Sumitra ji? You can join the meeting again. Hasanuddin sir, go ahead in the meantime.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Actually, I was about my 15 years age old. जब मैं 15 साल का था और आंध्र प्रदेश में एक छोटा सा टाउन है वो हमारा टाउन, वहाँ पे जब क्रिकेट इतना वो पॉपुलर नहीं था और हम लोग बॉल बैडमिंटन, आप सुने होंगे बॉल बैडमिंटन, बहुत बहुत पैशनेट और क्रेजी थे हम लोग बचपन में एट द एज ऑफ 15 ईयर 10th क्लास जब पढ़ रहे थे। वो हम लोग जो है वहाँ पे नेशनल प्लेयर्स आके हमारे ग्राउंड में प्रैक्टिस करते थे और वो नेशनल चैंपियनशिप्स वगैरह की स्टोरीज वगैरह सुनाते थे। तो हम लोग इतना उसके अंदर जो है इमर्स हो जाते थे, इट यूज्ड टू बी लाइक क्रेज हमारे लिए। तो उस टाइम पे हैविंग ओनिंग ए ओन बैट, इट वाज लाइक चैलेंज फॉर अस। जो बॉल बैडमिंटन का जो बैट होता है ना, तो मैं बहुत जिद करता था हमारे फादर को वो बैट दिलाने के लिए, क्योंकि आई डिड नॉट हैव माय ओन बैट। हम लोग जब वो सीनियर प्लेयर्स जब रेस्ट करते थे वो टाइम पे उनका बैट बारो करके खेलते थे, हम प्रैक्टिस करते थे। रेस्ट ऑफ द टाइम हम उनको बॉल दूर चले गए तो लाके देने का वो बॉयज का काम करते थे। तो मैं मेरे फादर को बहुत वो जिद करके करके हैदराबाद से एक बैट मंगवाया था। उस टाइम पे वो 75 रुपीस, नॉर्मल बैट 10, 15, 20 तक रहता है। वो पिच्चाया ब्रांड उस टाइम पे बहुत फेमस था। तो जब वो बैट मुझे वो मेरे फादर लाके दिए थे, बहुत खुश हो गया था मैं। मेरे हैप्पीनेस का वो नहीं था, लिमिट नहीं था। और जब मैं वो बैट लेके नेक्स्ट डे उधर गया प्रैक्टिस के लिए और मेरा बैट देख के वहाँ के सीनियर, हमारे सीनियर्स बहुत हो गए, इम्प्रेस हो गए। और एक सीनियर प्लेयर मेरे बैट मेरे से बारो करके वो खुद खेलने लगा। एट द एंड ऑफ द मैच वो मुझे बताया नहीं था, वो एक ऐसा रॉन्ग स्ट्रोक मार दिया, वो बैट टूट गया और साइलेंटली मुझे वापस कर दिया, वो चले गया घर। तो जब मैं खेलने लगा तो उसके अंदर क्रैक मैं महसूस कर रहा था। तो मैं बहुत अपसेट हो गया और मैं फादर को कैसे बोलूं, क्योंकि उसका वो मेरा ड्रीम बैट था और मैं उसके बेसिस पे नेशनल चैंपियन बनना चाह रहा था और मेरा ड्रीम वहीं टूट गया फर्स्ट डे। मैं बहुत अपसेट हो गया, बहुत रोया था। और उसी दिन मैं डिटरमाइन कर लिया था कि अगर हमारा ड्रीम है कोई चीज पे, वो दूसरों के हाथ में नहीं रखना है। और उस दिन से मेरा लाइफ लेसन है कि मेरा ड्रीम को मैं खुद हैंडल करता हूँ, किसी के हाथ में नहीं देता। और मेरे फ्रेंड्स नेशनल चैंपियंस बन गए, मैं नहीं बन सका।
Wonderful analogy, I must say, Hasanuddin sir. I think that last line is something that every kid over here must listen to again. Do not give your dreams to someone else's hand. Your dreams are yours alone and you have to fight it out. So I think that's a wonderful message. Thank you, Hasanuddin sir, for that wonderful message. So, Akanksha.
Yes, sir. Thankfully,
Please clean your camera first. I'm waiting for that. Go ahead.
So actually, you said me to speak, but having so many memories, being in Bangalore for my first 5 years and whole pre-primary went in Bangalore. So I had too many memories traveling here and there. What I did was I just went back to the pictures and was finding for something to speak on. So thankfully, I found a picture of me playing cricket. And like being athletic and being nerdy was two different things, and people used to be surprised. because half of the time I used to spend in playing games and other half maybe studying. But again, the two things were like totally opposite. And due to playing, I used to get hurt really, really bad. And probably that's what made me strong now. I used to get totally, like every day, I used to get a painful hurt completely. And later on, obviously, Mama used to scold. And my reaction would be, I'm hurt and you scold me back. Now, physical pain and emotional pain. But later on, I realized probably that's what made me strong now. I got hurt now previously, and now the hurts aren't painful so much. And compared to Ananya, it's I like she didn't get hurt a lot because being the younger one, she used to be like pampered really much. So probably that's what I wanted to share today, because hurts make you stronger.
Wonderful end line, I must say. Hurts make you stronger. Vagisha, there's a lesson for you there. And I believe for every one of us. Today, last week, I was interacting with my school principal, who is right now in Bangalore, someone who I had met, under whom I was studying way back, I think approximately 22 years ago. Luckily, I got in touch with her through Facebook, and I got in touch with her. And I just told her, ma'am, today, let me tell you this. We were damn hell scared to even stand in front of you because of your particular detail about discipline and the way you focused on discipline. And probably that's when, after that statement, I told her, thank you for being that fear. Possibly that's what taught us and helped us a lot in becoming who we are today. Probably that discipline, that thing that they taught us, was something which made us deep down build the work ethic or the focus on learning and having discipline in our life, is something that I felt proud about. And Akansha, I wanted to ask you one thing. So why was that last line where your sibling is pampered, she's not hurt? Why was that last line in there, do you think?
Yeah, facts. Like it
I know it is a fact, because I am the middle one of the three siblings, and I have a daughter who's younger one, and I know how kind of she's pampered but still strong, and the elder one who's hurt, who's often hurt because of his all troubled things that he mischief that he gets into, but still he's also strong equally. Anyways, thank you for that story, Akansha. Wonderful. I like the last line, that hurt made you stronger. Next in line, Chetanji, would you like to go? You're on mute. You're on mute.
I'm not prepared, but I'll try.
Anything.
Okay.
It's your story. It's your childhood story. So you just have to reflect. It need not be prepared.
Yes, I don't remember childhood much, but after graduation, I think when I was supposed to shift to another city, from my hometown, there were many challenges. I had to build a career, and many people said, yeah, if you couldn't do it, come back. So it was a challenge. So I accepted it. I came to the city, Pune city, and initially, I'm in teaching field. Initially, there were a lot of challenges. I distributed pamphlets of my teaching by my own, door to door. So I accepted whatever work related to teaching came in my path. I accepted it as a home tutor or anything related with teaching. And when it came relating marriage, I was selected by my wife, not by her parents. So that was another challenge to prove that yes, she has chosen the right person. That was the biggest challenge. Many people in my circle said, "Teri to lottery lag gaya." No, this was not a compliment. It hurts. Am I not eligible? Isn't it? So that was again a challenge to prove that yes, I am the right person whom she has chosen. So Now it's well and good. We have 2 kids. It's running good. Career wise, family wise, it's good.
Wonderful.
So
Yeah.
Akanksha said, hurt makes you strong. I agree with her. I agree with her.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that deep down, authentic story, I would say. Somewhere, a lot of people go through these struggles and everyone has a story. Sumitra ji, can you hear me now? Sumitra ji, please unmute kijiye.
Yes.
Boliye abhi? Yeah, we can
It's
hear you
okay?
now. Yeah, now we can hear you. Happy to see you back.
हाँ, हर्ट पे बात चल रही थी, मुझे अपनी बचपन की एक स्टोरी याद आ रही है जहाँ पर मैं हर्ट भी हुई, उसने मुझे स्ट्रांग भी बनाया और एक वेल नोन फिगर भी बनाया। बात है, बहुत पुरानी बात है, यानी आप लोगों के लिए तो हो जाएगा वंस अपॉन ए टाइम 1969, जबकि मैं स्कूल गोइंग थी और हमारे स्कूल में कई तरह के स्पोर्ट्स हुआ करते थे, लेकिन आई वाज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ दैट टीम। हाँ, उनमें से किसी टीम की मैं हिस्सा नहीं थी। एक बार ऐसा हुआ कि स्कूल में टेबल टेनिस की टीम बननी थी और उसके लिए बाहर से कोई कोच आने वाले थे, वो टीम सेलेक्ट करने थे। मैं भी बहुत खुश हुई कि मेरे को इस टीम का हिस्सा बनना ही है। जब पार्टिसिपेंट्स जा रहे थे तो मैं भी गई गर्ल्स में और मैंने भी अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दिया एंड आई वाज सेलेक्टेड इन द टीम। 4 गर्ल्स को सेलेक्ट किया गया, उसमें मैं भी थी। लेकिन ये होता है ना कि ओवर एंथम में खेल रहे हैं और पाँव हो गया आपका स्प्रेन हो गया, पाँव में एंकल स्प्रेन। दैट वाज वेरी पेनफुल, बहुत स्वेलिंग आ गई, लेकिन मेरे में कहीं इतना वो जज्बा था, मैंने कहा सर आप मुझे टीम में से नहीं निकाल रहे, जैसे ही ठीक होंगी मैं कंटिन्यू करूंगी और मुझे खेलना इस टीम में। उसके 1 महीने बाद मैं बराबर उसको देखती रही, जब प्रैक्टिस होती रही मैं उसको देखती रही। 1 महीने बाद मैंने उसको ज्वाइन किया और मुझे आपको ये बताते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि उसी साल में डिस्ट्रिक्ट चैंपियन बनी। उसके बाद में मैंने राजस्थान स्टेट को भी रिप्रेजेंट किया, राजस्थान यूनिवर्सिटी को भी रिप्रेजेंट किया और बस फिर खेलते ही चले गए काफी समय तक, अच्छे लंबे समय तक, और अभी तक खेलते रहते हैं जब भी मौका मिलता है। थैंक यू। यदि उस दिन चोट से मैं हार जाती कि आज पहला दिन है, मुझे चोट लग गई है और मुझे तब बैठ जाना है, मुझे नहीं खेलना है, तो शायद मैं कभी नहीं खेल पाती। थैंक यू।
Wonderful. Again, another beautiful lesson that we have. आपकी कहानी से बहुत, and जब आपकी बात कर रहे हो once upon a time की, obviously when you're talking of 1969, it's way beyond even when I was born. So Vagisha, take back 10 times your age. You're back to where she was playing the game that she was playing. So that's how olden times that you're talking of. But the fact that she could do it then, and the beautiful story where after the failure, the first step, she didn't stop. She went back and went on to achieve whatever she did. Went on to play for the state, went on to become a wonderful player. And today, if she's talking about that, at whatever age she's in, she might be 70 right now. So you can imagine that there's something that she talks about not giving up. Thank you. Thank you, Sumitra ji, for that wonderful story. Anand. Anand, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
राहुल, मेरे पास ऐसी कोई इंस्पिरेशन वाली स्टोरी तो है नहीं।
इंस्पिरेशन नहीं, चलो अभी आपके पहले मैं मेरी कहानी बता देता हूँ, तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा। इट्स नॉट अबाउट इंस्पिरेशन, इट्स नॉट अबाउट एनीथिंग विच यू, it can be a funny story as well. It's just about any story that you want to share with us. So let me share with you one of the 2 stories that I want to share with you all today. The first story is that of my childhood when I was in 8th class, where I was sent to boarding. I was sent to boarding school in Panchgani. So I studied there for 3 years in Panchgani. And before you get your imagination out, I was not a mischievous child. I was not someone who was kind of torturous in the home. I went to the boarding school by choice. If you want, I can make you talk to my parents. Just that I went out there to boarding school with a choice because I wanted to. My parents thought that will be a good opportunity to build my character and build my thought process, and that's where the story is that of which connects with Uma ma'am. That was a time where luckily we didn't have mobile phones. We didn't have kind of a connection the way we have today across the globe and the way we are connected today. It was a time when we used to write letters. I used to write letters to my dad or mom to my parents in Narsapur, West Godavari. So for the letter to reach, it used to take almost 4 days. And for them to write a reply back to me, and I getting an answer to what they were thinking or what they were responding to what I thought and what I was experiencing on today was almost after 10 days. The answer I got is after 10 days. And in every letter, there was one thing which was consistent, that I'm going to go to study well, I'll prepare well, and I'll get distinction in the exams that I'm writing. So 8th class, after I scored well in mathematics but bad in some other subjects, and I got something like 60, 62%, I wrote to my parents, I'll do well next time. After 9th midterm, I wrote to them again, I'll do better next time. And after 9th exams, obviously I used to go back home. I wrote to them again that I'll do better. And in 10th boards, I know it is very important. I will study well and get distinction. After 10th midterm exams and towards the end, before the final exams of board exams came in, I still again wrote to them, I will get good marks. I'll get distinction for sure. And guess what? Guess what happened in 10th board exams?
You achieved your goal.
I wrote a letter again.
Am I right? I have done
I
it.
wrote a letter again. 12th is a better place to get distinction. I got 62% in my 10th. And after that, I moved on and went on back to square one from where I began. I went back to my hometown where I did my 11th and 12th. And that's how the story is still recollected in me of how, as a kid, as someone, as a child, we are all beautiful storytellers. We have our reasons for whatever we did, however we did. But somewhere I think we always keep on building that story. And that's what when I look back at my childhood and my hostel days, every time I used to write a letter with that first line, next time I'll get a better percentage. They were waiting for a day when it would have come where this time I've got a distinction, and it never happened, at least until 10th. So that's a funny story that I had to share. Anand, would you like to go ahead with your story? Anything that you can reflect upon? Anand? Neha?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, Anand, go ahead.
Okay.
1 minute, Neha. Anand has just responded. Anand, go ahead.
बहुत इनोसेंट स्टोरी है, मतलब मैं आज भी याद करता हूँ तो हंसता हूँ. एक्चुअली होता क्या था, जैसे मैं छोटे से गांव से बिलोंग करता हूँ, तो गांव में गाय और बैल, मतलब काऊ एंड जो अपने, तो मैं जब भी जाता था तो मैं नोटिस करता था कि बुल्स होते हैं जो कि काट में लगाते हैं उन्हें, तो जो बफेलो होती है उनको भी कई बार काट में काम में लेते थे. तो मैं हर बार ये सोचता था कि काऊ को तो नहीं लेते हैं, बुल्स को ही लेते हैं ये काट में. मतलब इतना इनोसेंट था कि मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था इस तरीके से. तो बहुत इनोसेंट था. उसके अलावा इसी तरीके से एक दो और इंसिडेंट है. जैसे हमारा कोटा में मैं था, जब हम गांव से कोटा शिफ्ट हुए तो मैंने एक कराटे क्लब ज्वाइन किया. तो एक गर्ल्स स्कूल में उसका हमारा डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन था. उसी टाइम पे मुझे कोई इंजरी थी तो मैं पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर सकता, तो मुझे होस्ट बना दिया गया. उससे पहले मैंने कभी भी स्टेज पे परफॉर्म नहीं किया था या कुछ भी स्पीच वगैरह कुछ दी थी, और मुझे सडनली कि तू होस्ट करेगा हमारी तरफ से. तो वो अब मुझसे, मैं एकदम से मुझे सामने खड़ा कर दिया गया, मुझसे कुछ बोला ही नहीं जा रहा है, सब लोग देख रहे हैं कब बोलेगा ये. इस तरीके की स्टोरीज है मेरी ज्यादातर. बाकी इंस्पिरेशन टाइप कुछ भी नहीं है मेरे पास.
Need not be. Your childhood is your story, and both these are things which
I
are
think
always.
Mr. Anand can speak a little louder. We're not able to hear him.
Anand ji,
Yes, sir.
और कोई कहानी? Yeah, you're done.
और कोई कहानी तो सर जैसे हसुद्दीन ने सुनाई थी क्रिकेट मैच से रिलेटेड. प्रज्ञा होंगी लाइन पे?
Okay. Pragya is there. I think I was going to come to that only because Pragya is one person who's also from Kota. And I think
प्रज्ञा को ध्यान होगा कि नहीं इन्होंने 800 ली थी, मारुति 800.
आनंद प्लीज मेरी कहानियां ना बताए.
Actually, Pragya and Anand are both from Kota, Rajasthan. That's where their connection is.
चलिए मना कर दिया यार.
Yeah. Okay, Rabia. Go ahead, Anand.
बता दो, it's okay.
Hello. Okay, I think Anand has muted this. Vagisha is raising her hand. Can we have Vagisha first, and then we'll have Rabia? Yeah, Rabia, is it fine?
No, yeah, fine.
Vagisha?
After that.
Yes, sir.
Video on.
Okay, sir.
So we are left with another 4 to 5 people, and after that, as I told, stay tuned for until the end of the meeting. Till at the end of this meeting, I'm going to share with you all, like we all have come together to celebrate 25th Saturday and 26th Saturday that we have had of Speak Up Club. I'll be sharing with you all the journey of Speak Up Club we have had, not the one that you have seen at the front end, just looking or attending these programs, but what has gone behind the scenes and how we have grown over this 6-month period and the journey which has been there, which started much before this time that we are talking of. Vagisha, go ahead.
Okay, sir. First, I remember the time I was in Prep 2 and Prep 1 when I went to, when I was in a home only. After coming from school in the evening, I was at home only. I was at home only, but my mother and father was out at office. And they would come in the night time. I was with my grandmother all alone. My grandmother was in the kitchen. I had to study that time. So when I asked my grandmother what to study, she said to study numbers 1 to 100. And I went there, I couldn't even read the numbers. And after that, I said, I can't even read the numbers. Let me do very little, like 1 to 50, 1 to 10. Okay, you do 1 to 50, but not 1 to 10. I want 1 to 10 only, I said. But she didn't listen. So when I tried that, I had to write 10. I had to write the number 1 and then the number name 1. It took a long time. But finally, I finished it. So I didn't give up and I still did it. So the moral of the story is that never giving up, you can only reach your goal.
Wonderful, Vagisha. I think that's a beautiful story for a 7-year-old. Vagisha, by the way, is your birthday gone or I'm still calling you 7-year-old only?
Actually, I'm 8 plus.
When is your birthday?
February
You're
20th
8 plus
is my
now.
birthday.
Good. Okay, wonderful. So the idea that I'm talking of is, I'm not sure. One thing when she started was when I went to school and came back to home, when my parents were in office, when my grandmother was at home, all I was thinking was, today we are living in a world where my office is at home, my child's school is at home, he's not going out to come back to home, and my grandmother is at home, everyone is at home. Then where is it and when will we go back to the normal world? I think that's one thing that I thought of while I was thinking of the way Vagisha was saying that she came back to home and she didn't find anyone. Today we are waiting for everyone to get out of the home and find the home empty. So with that, let's move on to Rabia. Rabia, you're on mute. Rabia, mute.
Yeah. Thanks for giving me a chance to speak up once again. I really feel happy. I would remember those things. Means I just would like to recall about, as what I told you earlier, many a time that my father was my role model. So once it so happened, it was like my school days when I was in, and those were summer holidays, summer vacation. And I hope means you can also understand better that those days were the golden days. As we used to say golden days, it's only not in saying, it is in the fact, truth you can say, because we used to have lots of fun playing all in the grounds, being together with the neighbors. And presently, if you just have a look of our present generation, they hardly see each other. Everyone is confined in one room with one handset in their hands, and no one sees to the other person. Only on weekends, also, when they are there at home, even then they do not see each other because they will be busy chatting or else busy playing games on videos, watching videos, or being only with the handsets or in front of their laptops. So that was the beautiful days of our life when we used to have lots of fun in open air, in the open space. So in the same manner, in the afternoon, when I was playing with my brother, my elder brother was there. I have one sibling. He's an elder to me. We both were there always together, and they were neighbors, a few of us who were there. Small boy was also there with us. So we were just playing, and it was summer vacation, you can understand, and we had a big ground over there in front of our house with lots of trees, and one among the best one of all was mango tree. And you can understand how the child will be after it. So we were just fond of those raw mangoes, and we wanted to pluck, but we could not reach to that level. As such, it was too high, but like bells, you can see, it used to hang on the tree. Seeing to that, I was really fascinated. I took up a stone and threw over it to get it at least one by chance. And I was trying for it 2 3 times. I hit, but I missed the chance. The fourth time when I hit, it just touched the mango. But unluckily, you can say, unfortunately, the boy who was next to our neighbor was standing next to me. Accidentally, he just came in between, and the stone fell so hard on his head that I was so shocked and screamed more than him. And then, after, the boy started crying. When he kept his hand on his head and removed it, it was bleeding. And I was trembling like anything. And it was being a Sunday, my father was at home. I could not do anything but thinking that now I'm going to go. He will not let me go. And I was just shocked. What am I going to react with the situation as such? Do I supposed to say that it was done by me, or it was just accidentally? Actually, it had happened. But the thing is, I was responsible for it. I was the one who picked up the stone. I was the one who threw it on. So I was just shivering and listening to the voice, and everybody gathered, all our neighbors. And when he was screaming, all of them gathered in the ground. So also my father. It's looking at him, I was so nervous. And then he just came forward and asked what actually had happened. Then I just told him everything because he had taught me a lesson that whatever may happen, you should never tell a lie. So I spoke the truth. I said, so happened. I just have hit the mango with a stone, and it was that. So happened. He came in between, and it just fell on him. So he just did not react at that time the way I was expecting him to be. He just calmed me down because I was more panicky than that boy. So he calmed me down. He just said that, okay, fine, relax. Let me see to the situation first. Let me handle the situation. I'll see to the boy. And he saw him, it was bleeding. So he felt that he need to see a doctor. So he took him to the hospital, get him treated, and 1 or 2 stitches I think he got. So by the grace of God, he was fine, but he had 2 stitches, and he was brought back home. Then I was just praying for everything to be fine. When my father returned home, I was just waiting at the gates to see him, that he is coming happily, means to say he will be relaxed. So the boy was also brought back. I apologized very literally, I can say, and cried and said that it was not my intention, it just happened. So they all excused me. Then my father took me inside and then said, see, beta, whenever you do anything, you shouldn't be in a hurry to do the things. Yes, those mangoes are there, they are tempting, but you should not, in the temptation, let go things beyond your limits and should control yourself. And from then onwards, I learned a lesson that whatever may entice you, whatever may fascinate you, first you think once whether you can or you cannot, and then take a step ahead. And that's the lesson which I have learned. Thank you.
Wonderful,
And
wonderful.
one line I could say that no one
Go
in
ahead.
this world can love a girl more than her father. That's the lesson I learned on that day as well. I felt the same. Thank you.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Pragya can fight you on that. Okay, we have Neha, and we have, I think, two more people left. Pragya, Neha, Shanu Khan, and Sheikh. Hopefully, you will also be sharing a story. Neha, go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. I do not have much, but after listening to so many experiences and stories, I could remember some of the, stories where I did some mischief. Like once I erased the, comments of the teachers, homework not done, improve your writing. So I erased those. I don't know what happened, and I just erased all those negative comments from my copy. The next day, I got a slap from my teacher. So this was the only mischief that I remember doing in school. Second thing that I was remembering was I was once chucked out of the dance class. The teacher wanted us to do thumka, जो मुझे आया नहीं उस time. I was very small, class 3, class 4, and so just for that reason, you know. And another thing that I was thinking was that when I was younger, we used to live in smaller, comparatively smaller houses, and there were so many people around and so many children. We were always playing outside so many games, but now when we are in a little bigger house, hardly we see any children around, and especially my own kids, they hardly have any company to play with. So I feel this is a negative of living in, bigger houses and having everything, but still those little happiness things are missing out in life. And then another thing that I would like to share is that my mom, when I was very small, almost 30 years ago, when I was in class 4 or 5. My mom was not well, and since you people are from Hyderabad, so that is the reason I'm mentioning it. And I happened to visit Hyderabad at that time, 30 years ago, and for her, treatment at her Polo hospital at that time. So that is it from my.
Yeah, we are going to ask Apollo Hospital for a kind of loyalty or a commission for having promoted Apollo here, that it was there even 30 years ago.
भगवान करे जाना ही ना पड़े किसी को.
I agree. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I was actually calculating Neha's age.
Actually, everyone. That's what I was also thinking. When you said 30 years ago and you were in 4th, I was thinking, at what age are you in 4th?
Everybody gets into the same thing.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Neha. Thank you for those wonderful memories. Again, like I said, for everyone, the idea is that we often don't think of, or the memory fades away, but it's actually not fading off. It's just that we are accumulated with so much of present that we forget those things which actually mattered and those beautiful memories that we have. And I believe this session, the idea is not for any gyan or anything, but just by listening to someone else's story, you could recollect, you could reflect upon or brush away the dirt that has been there, that age has put on you, and recollect that how life was lively and beautiful back with you yourself, not about someone else, but your own life. Shanu Khan, go ahead.
I have nothing so much to say about my childhood memories, but one or two things that I remember that when I am small, I love to go to my village and enjoy with my other cousins, brothers and sisters. And when I am small, I am 7 and 8 years, so my father is the biggest son of my grandfather's family, so he have to go at the different places in marriage and different occasions. So then he was alone. So I with my uncle to care my brothers, and I am the most elder one. So from that, I have to look after my junior brothers and sisters. So from that, I learned how to take responsibility. So in the present, yeah, I learned from that. If you are taking responsibility, then you are really a responsible person. That's all for my side.
Wonderful, Shanu Khan. Thank you for that, sharing that story. I believe everyone who's the elder of your family would have connected with that wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that. Do we have Sheikh Yusuf?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Can you switch on your video if it's possible?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Great. Good to see you after so long.
Thank you. Yeah.
You have been on off for the sessions, but good that you are here on this special day. Thank you for joining, and go ahead with your story.
Thank you so much. Actually, I miss this session, but I have some work, and that is why I'm not able to join. But whenever I get time, today I got time, so I joined, and actually it's fantastic. So I have a couple of stories to share with you all, but actually I'm a bit confused at what stories to say and what stories to not say. But I would like to tell you a story that I learned something out of that. So it is back in 2012 when I was in BA third year, right? So that day, that was my college days. So that day, one of my distant relative got admitted in a hospital in my hometown. That is Bardhaman. I am from West Bengal. So Bardhaman is a town of West Bengal. So now one of my distant relative that he got admitted in a hospital, and now it's a government hospital, and that person is a hawker by profession. He sells good in a train. So now in a government hospital, the junior doctors demanded 50,000 rupees to operate him. So he need to have some operation, and junior doctors demanded 50,000 rupees for admitted him. At that time I was like very flamboyant, and that time I was in college days. So I did not know anything about government hospital and private hospital, but one thing actually clicked in my mind. So how come they can demand money in a government hospital to operate a person? So just they called me. He thought that I'm big boss, or maybe I'm in a college, and my actually college is near to the that particular hospital. So he thought that I might be something like Dada or something, maybe superpower I have. So he just called me, and that I have to act on that. And I thought that let's do something. Then I went to the hospital, and I asked the junior doctor, and that time I did not have that concept that what is junior doctors, what are senior doctors. Still I went on, and I went there with my friends. Okay, I asked them, why do you need money? Well, who are you? Then they told me that, are you a journalist? But all of a sudden, I said yes. Okay, I was not a journalist, but I said yes. They thought me, they took me seriously. And then a lot of doctors, just surrounded me, around me. And then they tried to interrogate me. And then I took out my camera, and then I started recording, and they got scared off. They got frightened. Then they told me that, sir, please come here. Then they took me in a room, and then they told me, okay, so whatever has happened, it's happened. And actually, we don't need money. So, sir, actually, we were looking into the matter. Okay, then senior doctor came in, and they told me that maybe that person does not need an operation at all. Okay, so so then I got astonished. I also did not have any clue what is going on. Just I showed my courage and guts that I wanted to protest it. I thought that is wrong. And the next day also I went to the hospital, and he was taken care of very properly. And he also got medicine, got at free of cost from the hospital. And the next day he was released from the hospital. Okay, so from that day, I gained some experience. I got experience, very good experience. The people like middle class people, that actually we are the most sufferer people in the society. So if we protest something, and if we go ahead, then something might happen. So then I got a new experience out of my life, and that experience came when I came to my professional world, when I worked with the multinational company. Today I'm doing business. So that thing I learned from there, but still that is working. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Wonderful story. I think that's a lesson that everyone can take back, that even if you're not, fake it, because someone might believe it and help you, and it could come to your help at some point in time. And I know next time when I'm going to a government hospital or any hospital, what should I act as, so that I know how to get the benefits out of them. So an operation which was required and had a cost, the doctor said that the operation was not required at all, and then a problem solved.
Yes.
Thanks for the wonderful story, Yusuf. I think it does teach us a lesson with regard to how we can deal with situations with a little more bravery. I think while you were young and you were dashing, I think that's the reason we could go with that story, and today you're able to succeed because of that very thing. Thank you for sharing that story.
Thank you so much. Also.
Pragya.
Okay. So frankly speaking, it's very difficult for me to
pick up one story from my life, but if you just give me 2 minutes, I'll take you through the journey of my learnings, because I think every learning has its own importance. So this particular learning started for me when I was in my maybe grade 2 or 3, as far as I remember. My father was not there. He expired when I was 4. So the first learning I got is of how to deal with pity. So, you know, most of the times we are all taken as pitiful people when we don't have something which is supposed to be there. You know, if you don't have one of your parents, you're supposed to be somebody who doesn't have the whole family. That's where I learned that people will keep pitying you for the things which does not fit into their frames. But what matters is how you take it. So if you feel that, yes, you're at a loss for something, you are. If you feel that, no, my mother is enough. I thought my mother was enough for me, and I didn't find myself to be a person of pity. So I never cared about it. Otherwise, maybe I would have been a very, very depressed person by now, thinking that I don't have things. Then I moved forward, and during my 9th, 10th grade, I was a very mischievous kid, I would say. I'm quite somebody who would experiment with things and who was really, really bad with studies. I had no time for it. That's what I would say. So all of the people around me said that you will not do anything in your life because you don't get good grades. I was somewhere between those 60%, 70% grades. So everybody used to put that thing in my mind that you're not educated enough, you don't get good grades, and you will not become anything in your life. But there was one thing which kept me going, which was my belief. I told them, I know when I need to put how much. When I know that I have to score in 10th, that is a mark sheet that will be carried. Why will I waste my time on my 9th and 8th? I will totally work on my 10th and 12th then. And thankfully, I secured one of the good grades, I would say, or marks in my 10th. So here my learning was that if you know what you want to do in your life, if you're crystal clear about where you need to go, what you need to do, and you have your own goals set, stop listening to people around you, because they will never know what you can do. That's your caliber, which only you can know about it. As I moved forward, I was in a hostel. And trust me, it's one of the most worrisome places which people can think of. At least for me, it was. You have seniors, you have juniors, and you have professors over their head. So there, my biggest learning was that you will get people from different aspects of life, different behaviors, different thought processes, which will never match you. You might feel that, why am I here? Why am I in this particular situation where nobody understands me, where nobody knows me, and they don't even care about me? But there I understood in those 3 years of my hostel life, and post that, I understood that the only person who needed to care about myself was me. When I gave up, I went into a state of, negativity and all those things. But the day I decided that these are strangers, the people around me, the neighbors, or, the people who are there are just strangers to me. Why do I even need to bother what they think about me? Or why do I even need to bother that, how will my life be if they think a particular thing? And I think this is something which all of you can relate to. हम लोग हमेशा वो सिचुएशन में रहते हैं कि लोग क्या कहेंगे हमारे बारे में, लोग क्या सोचेंगे हमारे लिए, अगर मैं ये करूंगा तो दूसरा क्या सोचेगा. ये चीजें जो सबसे ज्यादा हम लोग को दिमाग में, एक तरीके से कह लो आप, एक वो बंधन बना के रखती है, काइंड ऑफ अ केज दैट इट क्रिएट्स, एंड यू कैन नॉट गो आउट ऑफ इट. इट्स द टफेस्ट थिंग टू गो आउट. And I remember my mom always telling me, which I found something very interesting, was, ये क्यों कर रहे हो, 4 लोग देखेंगे तो क्या बोलेंगे. And still now, I'm at this age when I have 2 kids, and still I ask my mom, मम्मा वो 4 लोग हैं कौन और मुझे कहाँ मिलेंगे जो मेरे के बारे में कुछ बोलने वाले. So those 4 people I haven't found in my life, and every day a new 4 people gets created, because everybody will have a problem with what I do. So this was my learning, which I learned from the hostel, that whatever happens around you will only affect you if you let it go here. So, you should always keep a filter here. वो जो गांधी जी के बंदरों की तरह से नहीं, I just kept a filter here. I only listened what I wanted to, and I just filtered everything which was unnecessary. So ये एक बहुत अच्छी चीज मैंने हॉस्टल लाइफ में सीखी. And उसके बाद जब मैं जॉब में गई, so that was one learning wherein I learned कि
ये चाइल्डहुड नहीं बोलूंगी, बट हाँ मैं ज्यादा बड़ी भी नहीं थी उस समय, जॉब के टाइम पे बच्चों जैसी हरकतें थी मेरी। तो वो जॉब ड्यूरेशन में मैंने ये चीज सीखी कि अब वो जो कहते हैं ना कि आपको अगर आगे बढ़ना है तो आपको एक सीढ़ी चाहिए। इट्स अ वेरी कॉमन थिंग जो हर तरीके की जॉब में कहा जाता है कि आपको एक सीढ़ी की जरूरत होती है अगर आपको आगे बढ़ना है। बट ट्रस्ट मी, अगर अपने को अपने कैलिबर पे अपनी जो हम कर रहे हैं काम, अगर आप उस पर विश्वास रख के चलोगे, ट्रस्ट व्हाट यू डू, इफ यू ट्रस्ट इन योर कैपेबिलिटीज, योर गोल्स, योर अचीवमेंट्स, ठीक है, आई एग्री, डिले हो सकता है, it might, you might take 2 years, you might take 4 years, but if you've taken those 4 years, nobody in this world will come to you and say that, you know, dude, I helped you, that is why you're here. So never give that opportunity to somebody, because it will always hurt. जिस भी दिन वो बंदा के बोल देगा ना कि तुम मेरी वजह से यहाँ पे पहुंचे, नहीं तो तुम कुछ नहीं थे. So it's like, it's okay, वो time लगने दो, no worries, but just do it. So I think till now these have been through my childhood, and at least in the age of 20 when I was placed, तब तक ये सारी ऐसी learnings रही जो अलग अलग stage पे मेरे childhood के, you know, they kept teaching me things, and that is one reason I think which, I mean, I am a hard soul now a little bit, I would say, and I don't care. I've stopped caring about what others think about me. This is how my learning has been throughout my childhood. Thank you.
Wonderful, Pragya. Thanks for sharing those learnings. I think we are done with everyone. Is anyone left out? Okay, I think we have covered with everyone. And before we close the session and I go on to that part where I'm sharing the story of Speak Up Club, let me share a few thoughts about what we have done today and what all we have discussed and learned from the different stories that we have heard. From what I feel, I strongly believe that each one of you all have a child deep within you. And why I say that is because it's just that we have covered up with layers of different names that we give to the deep within child that we have in different forms. But the biggest problem is that each one of us was born winner. But as we have grown up, we have let go of the wisdom that childhood, or as a child, the wisdom that you have, and each one of us is blessed with that. We have let go of that wisdom. So just to talk a few situations or few things which kids do a little differently from what we as adults. So I might be 34, but I still don't consider myself an adult because there's a kind of childlike sensitivity that I always keep in myself, which helps me in growing and keep doing things better. So on that aspect, I would just like to say, look at how you dealt with failures and setbacks while you were a kid. When you fell down, when you were making a castle, when you did a lot of things, like Akansha said, she hurt herself and yet she grew from that. Look at how it didn't matter what people thought or what your situation or what the result of that specific event was. It didn't matter, and you kept on going and you kept on trying doing things. And that's what a child teaches us. Look at your own history, look at your own childhood, how you bounced back every time you had a setback or a failure. And today, when you're falling down or you're having a setback, what is it that you're doing? Where is that child within you lost? Look at how, as a child, you had a curiosity to question every situation, everything that was around you with questions like what, when, how, why. These are questions that we were filled with as a child, and yet today we look at the situation around us, we look at the environment that we are surrounded with, and just do things as they are and stop questioning why is it that we're doing or why is it that we're living in a certain way of what we are doing. And more importantly, look at how as a child you were full of laughter, giggles, and small moments that you actually cherished. And that spirit didn't die down every day. And look at how as we have grown as adults, look at how that has changed. How many times do you laugh today? How many times have you had that moment in the last 1 month, 1 year, that you have held your stomach and laughed so hard that you had someone to tell you that please stop, otherwise you'll die out of something? When was the last time you laughed like that? And look at finally the most important thing, how as a child you engaged yourself so deeply and lost in something that you were truly passionate about. could be cricket, could be music, like Hasanuddin sir still remembers the bat, or Akansha talks about cricket, or Uma ma'am talks about different things. Each one of you all had something where you were lost deep within. And today, how often are we distracted in the daily things that we do, not able to commit ourselves to one thing and let go of ourselves, lost in some world? We are talking of yoga, you're talking of meditation, you're talking of a whole host of other things where you have to go and consciously find your soul, find your focus. But as a child, look at how easily we were able to do that. Today's generation is about mobile phones, forget about that. But look at how, as a child, you were into some form of expression of who you are and lost deep in that. That's what I'm talking of. As a child, you need to find where is that child lost and uncover the layers which you have bundled upon yourself to find that child and relive that, because that is where the real wisdom is there. You need not read any book. You need not go attend any workshops, anything that you have to go external. Your own childhood has the answers to every question that you pose or every situation that you are being posed right now in your life. The reflection is all you have to do and get back to your own childhood. I think that's where your world will change, and that's where the entire things will come back and make sense, and you'll find the answers to things. So with that, anyone has anything to share, feel free. After that, I just need 3 to 4 minutes of your time to share with you all the journey that we have gone through of Speak Up Club and where we are today from where we began.
Yeah, exactly. I completely
Yeah,
agree
Rabia.
with your words, because the way you have told about the childhood, presently also you can say when we compare ourselves with the children, they are so fearless, they are so bold. I can give an example of my handset itself, the newly mobile which I purchased recently. For that, I was little hesitant to check with the features of it. But you won't believe, my daughter just takes it, start working on it, tried everything, and now she's master of it. And she says, "What, Mama? Why are you afraid of? Let's try for it and check it. If it works out, it's okay. Otherwise, we will see another one." So that is how we can learn from children. That is very true what you said. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks. Thank you for that reflection, Rabia. I think that's, again, equally as I say, when I look at my kids today, they do offer a reflection of how our childhood was. Obviously, much more tech savvy, much more ahead of what we were. When I look at my 6-year-old son, I think of it that what was I when I was 6-year-old? Where is this generation gone ahead, way ahead than what we can think of? So that's how it is with the present generation. Anyone else has anything else to share?
I'll
Akansha,
take just a
Vagisha?
minute.
Sure, sir.
In fact, I was saying that that the status is temporary. The status that you enjoy as a senior civil servant. The status meant that there were people to do a lot of things for you. You didn't have to do. You had to do hardly anything, except I think signing on the train. The legwork was done by a lot of people, by your subordinates in the office. That is what the status meant.
Rabia, let your kid speak or let her talk.
Oh, my niece is there actually. Sorry.
No issues.
Can I
Yeah. Sorry,
continue?
sorry, Nataraj sir. Sorry, sir. Go ahead, sir.
So that is what the status translates into. You have people to do your bidding. You have people to do things for you. But in fact, if I'm honest with myself, okay, in those days when I was a kid, I had people to do things for me. While I appreciated the fact that it is very temporary, I don't know, virtually it has become permanent for me, because now a lot of these things are being done by my wife, Uma ma'am. So I don't know, maybe the status that I enjoyed as a kid, probably I continue to enjoy in my working life, thanks to Uma ma'am, thanks to my wife, Uma, who did a lot of things for me. I didn't have to do much by myself, and it is probably still a handicap for me. Let me be frank with you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. And I think I love the way in between in the flow you had Uma called as Uma ma'am. I loved that. Okay. Wonderful. Hasanuddin sir, you have raised your hand. Quickly, we'll just close this in 2 minutes, and after that, it'll be a 3 to 4 minute me sharing a story. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yes, जब आप ये
Hasanuddin sir?
जब आप ये सेशन शुरू किए थे, जब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा था ये क्या हो रहा है, ये चाइल्डिश स्टोरीज क्यों बोला जा रहा है, लेकिन आप जब एंड पे जब है ना ये जो मैसेज तो दे रहे थे, मेरे आंख में आंसू आ गए थे. As if I found my own kid. My own kid जैसा अगर थोड़ी देर के लिए गुम गया और हम उसको वापस पाए तो कितना खुशी होता है. Same thing happened with me. For so many years, I think I covered myself with fake these things, burdens, whatever. But it was a good क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एक point to be noted in our. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for those points. They really make a difference to the effort that we put in. And if we have something like this, it keeps us going on. I think that's where the love from each one of you all has kept us going for a long time. And frankly, like I always said, I never imagined we will be celebrating 25th Saturday night without a break in between. Pragya, I would like to add something, and after that, I'll go on to my thoughts.
Yeah, there is just one thought which I would like to go, and I think all of us would agree to it, that when we were kids, we always kept thinking that when will we grow up, when will we be adults? And now when we all are adults, we keep thinking, I wish my childhood comes back. That's why whenever my son asks me, Mama, when will I grow up? When will I become an adult? I tell him, beta, whatever you time have, live it now, because this is something which you will wish to come back always, and it will be very difficult to come back. So अगर आप लोग भी कोशिश कर सकते हैं तो at least with your kids, जिनके भी छोटे बच्चे हैं अभी, you can try to live your childhood once again. Jump in that rain, Ludo खेलो, Carom खेलो, do those hand paintings on the walls. Trust me, you will get your childhood back. Over to you.
I read this somewhere recently when someone was asked, what is the most foolish thing you prayed for while you were a kid? That person responded, to be a grown-up soon. I think that's what answered everything. So with that, I think I'll just quickly run through my thought process which I wanted to share with you all today. After having completed 25 sessions, and now we are in the 27th session of Speak Up Club. Let me begin with the short talk that I have. Everyone knows the story, the celebrations that we have had over the last week, but only a few know of the journey that we have gone through in building and coming to the place that we are in today. Living Life, the idea began way back in 2005, and up until 2019, we were in-house programming trainers, wherein we used to be invited and we used to go and deliver programs and sessions only inside a closed group environment, be it corporates, be it schools or colleges, but it was limited to the environment that we were involved in. And that's where late in 2019, we decided to go open because we wanted a message to be sent across to the wider world and to the open world. So we began with the first Speak Up Club competition that we launched exactly 1 year ago in November 2019, where we invited people or kids to come and participate in a competition where they can speak out. So we had that competition 1 year ago. And that's where we began with this journey of taking Living Life to the open world. And like they say, life happens, and 2020 happened. Let alone going an extra mile, we could not envision even thinking of accomplishing what we had in store for the 2020 plans that we had. It all was shredded to papers and shredded and broken down at the start of 2020 in March, because COVID came in, lockdown came in, and because we had planned for a lot of in-house programs or open programs, it was all shut. And that's when me and Pragya, both of us got together and decided that we cannot let this dream die down and let this opportunity that we have while we are not working or we are enclosed in our homes. We decided to attend online meetings and see how this world operates. Until then, we have not had a one single even session or counseling session or a training program online. And that's where we had a biggest challenge, not just in reaching out to the wider world in the online space, but also in dealing and delivering programs online, because you can't see people, half our cameras closed, you can't understand their reaction, you can't sense their understanding or not. And that's where we had to learn both the things, not just the technology part of it, wherein how Zoom operates or how to reach out to people in the online world and all those things, but also on how to deliver speeches to you only. And that's what made the difference. We, over the 2 months after lockdown on March 23rd, over 2 months, we attended meetings across the globe in Toastmasters. We attended over 60 meetings in that frame and understood the nitty-gritties of both the technology and how to deliver the programs online. And that's where on 23rd May, the first Speak Up Club program was launched with a lot of hiccups, with a lot of doubt, with a lot of inhibitions of how and what we'll be doing and where is it the future lies in this. But we did launch it. And that's where what followed was the different challenges that we faced. We faced two different types of challenges. One, on the personal scale with regard to the technology. We had challenges of bandwidth. Nobody knew how to operate Zoom. We had Zoom bombing, wherein we never knew which people came into the meeting, which people left. We could not control the meetings. We had challenges of power cuts. So challenges like that with regard to the technology came in. But more importantly, the challenges which we faced were of the personal scale. Like you all have already experienced, equally as you all, we also experienced no maid in house, all the work to be done by us, 2 young kids at home, and you never know during a session when the kid popped up. I remember one of the early sessions where we were doing a session on passion, unwinding passion. We had a younger one wake up in between the session, and Pragya was having the kid in her lap and she was delivering the session. So that was one of the experience, a moment where I could say that's what talked about our passion. We had situations where we had COVID infected in our family. The wider family, we are a big family of 50 members over, and we had through a period of 3 months, over 15 to 16 people hospitalized or with the positive cases, and many cases to the extreme of closer to seeing death. And despite all these things, we were still holding up and not a single break given in even one Saturday. There was a time when my dad was in ICU on a Thursday night, and here I was on a Saturday night delivering a session because of the passion that we have. So that's how this world grew and built. And as I told earlier also, we did not have a repository of programs. Each program has been delivered and designed just 1 week or 2 days before the program is to be delivered. So different ideas with regard to what to be done and how it is to be done, those were all developed and designed as we went on. We brought out ideas, we discussed with a lot of people, thanks to a lot of people who joined in with our mission, with our idea, with regard to Rabia or Uma ma'am or Kirti, who were helpful to us in the programs that we have done, like the Speak Up Challenge. They became a part of this community and they became more like a family. So all I would say, one more element as a part of this journey in the personal trauma that we experienced was the loss of my grandmother. So on 20th, exactly 4 months ago, we lost our grandmother to COVID. And that was another painful journey that we had to go through. And despite all these things, we just moved on and continued this journey. So all I would say, the takeaway from this experience that we have had are 3 things. First, COVID has prepared the market for online presence. Earlier, it was a situation where you never knew who would be ready as a student or as a marketplace to take up or come to attend programs like this. Today, a kid as young as 6-year-old, my son, while he's attending Zoom session, he comes and gives me suggestions that you're on mute. Please unmute yourself. That's how the comfort of technology has come into the lives of people. And that's where the market has opened up. Here we have Chetan also again, who's one person who's got into the online teaching, and he's expanded because COVID has prepared the market. Second thing, adversity is a challenge. But if you look at every adversity, it's an opportunity. And the word challenge has the answer to what you have to do. Take off a few letters and you'll find the word change. We were in our comfort zone of the physical space. And that's where when we began and accepted this is the reality and this is the future, we transformed ourselves to the future and we got ready for this world. And that's where, as we changed, we saw the adversity as an opportunity. And finally, the last thing and the most important thing, planning is a great place to start. It's a great place to start because it gives you a picture of what is it that you're going to do. But more importantly is the fact of how you respond to every situation and every element that changes in your plan. That's where your real skill comes to the picture, and you can deliver only when you're able to respond in the elements which are variable in your plan. And as they say, all I often say to people after this journey of 25th Saturday is, while I was staring at the closed door of meetings closing and COVID coming in and lockdown happening, I did not realize God had broken down the walls surrounding this door. That door is still intact, closed, locked up, and sealed. We never know when you're going to meet up in the physical space again. But this opportunity has opened up the doors and broken down the entire walls of the entire world. This community that you're seeing today is a result and an example and testimony for that. Over 350 people, unique people, have attended our meetings over the last 6 months, with a diverse community from as young as Vagisha, who's 7 years old, or even Sia, who's 3 years old, has attended our meetings, and someone as old as 74, 75, where we have Goel Saab, who's attended our meetings. So that's the community that we have built, wherein diverse people come in and experience the joy of learning from each other. We are not the coaches here. We are just facilitators, and each one coming onto this platform is providing us an opportunity to learn, and for each one of you all to learn from different and diverse thought process, not just places, but also from other countries. We have had people from London, we have had people from Kuwait, Bangladesh join in our meetings, and I'm so proud to say, I feel so proud that me and Pragya and each one of you all have built this community and made it what it is. So all I would say, thank you for being a part of it and making Speak Up Club what it is, because as I always say, Ubuntu, we are because you are. Thank you, everyone. With that,
Same from our side too. We are because you all are there. On behalf of one and all, I can say.
Thank you,
Thank you
Rabia.
so
Thank
much.
you. I will be editing this part of my speech and sharing it outside. So you can feel free to subscribe to that and share it among your groups and invite them to this club. I'm happy that
This
a lot of people
last
who are
part-
not coming.
Yes.
And
Last part
yeah, this
of your
last
speech. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
Please share it
cutting
in the
and
group.
using this. I'll be doing that also. And
Thank you,
apart
thank
from that, like I told, the gift which I shared to all of you all, if someone has not come in the last meetings, the gift that we have given is that each of these sessions that we have done, the recording of these sessions is available in the Speak Up Club WhatsApp group link. There's a playlist which is hidden only to the people who are there as a part of this. You can go and check out the videos that have been uploaded. All the 25 sessions which have happened till late. The Diwali one we are not uploading because that was just a meet and greet. This session also will be uploaded to that playlist. And hopefully, at any point in time, if you feel you want to get back to the learning of the things that you missed, or you have loved something and you want to go back and learn from that, because you were a part of it, there'll be different joy in learning from that. And you can always share to others with regard to any specific program or any specific segment that you have loved and you have learned from it. You can share among your friends and family. With that, I'm done. Anything else anyone wants to share?
Congrats, Rahul and Pragya. Continue the good work.
Sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Vagisha, your dinner time or sleeping time?
Sleeping time.
Sleeping time. Okay. Okay. Do tell your father, thanks for having you every Saturday night here. I know a father who cares for the development. Akansha, do share the regards with your mother. I know there will be situations where there will be tips that why are you attending all this? What's your requirement? What's your need? And all those situations will be there. But yes, eventually, everyone will take their own path. they'll learn and they'll realize the learnings that we all are having from these meets. And thankfully that you all are part of it. And I get to learn so much from each one of you all every time. Yeah. Anything else, anyone? Yeah. Anything else anyone would like to share, or we are good to close the meeting? And like I said, today's meeting, the theme, Children's Day. Think about how you were as a child. And if anything that you have learned which is stopping you from anything, take off that layer and be yourself, because you were born unique and you were born a winner. Thank you, and signing off this session with that note. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Rabia.
Yeah, is my message visible to